Hello, 634 subscribers. You're watching my favorite YouTube channel, Chillmonger. This is Captain Marvel. Pretty cover, right? That's the reason I got this book. Except for that top banner there. The Rest in Power Chadwick Boseman. I wish it hadn't had that. How insensitive, I know, but I wish it hadn't. So I could look at the pretty ass cover. Reason I got this book, I dropped Captain Marvel after the Empire thing. I saw that there would be tie-ins. I'm not a tie-in guy, and there is a reason why I didn't get all the X of Swords books, because they had tie-in stench over them, and I didn't read those. I don't regret it. I didn't read the Empire tie-ins, and I didn't regret that either. It was all explained right around here. She had a sister, which is another trope that I hate, when there's a secret family member this whole time, and it's like a shortcut. The writer uses that as an emotion that you can familiarize and relate to, because you have siblings also. So instead of creating a bond with character A, in this case it's Carol, and another person, some sort of Cree person who actually deserves to be this sort of the accuser, instead of using that, they're just like, boom, sister. Remember how she was a half Cree? Yeah, of course. Mama Cree had kids, and that's what happened. I skipped all of that. So now let's actually open the book and see what happens here. Another trope in which I don't like. It's the whole futuristic alternate universe thing. So we begin with a beautiful romance between Carol and James Rhodes. A couple times in here, they're gonna call Carol Cap. So the second time it happens, I felt like, okay, they're trying to push this Cap thing on her. I don't know how long she's been doing that. I know Jason and Aaron. I know there was one funny scene when they had a vampire in Avengers who was in the Avengers HQ. She looks over at Captain America. She goes, "Should we play good Cap, bad Cap?" That was great. But when you actually call her Cap and refer to her like that twice, feels like you're trying something. So this tree wraps its vines around her, and all of a sudden she gets taken to a whole new world. Okay. So that's about where I stopped caring, just to be real with you. There was some moments earlier where they said that her status as an Air Force, um, whatever the word was, has returned. And she felt good about that. I don't need my superheroes to find glee, to find joy in titles. Like, whoa, I got it. I'm good enough now. You know what I mean? I think they need to have more higher confidence and be like, I am an Air Force. I'm Carol Danvers, as you see in, when she's fighting these futuristic villains, when she does this move over here. I don't need to be reinstated. I'm good. It's okay. You guys keep that. Like, I don't need normal human being things for these superheroes. Like for example, Kamala. She doesn't need to go to school. Why? To have a career? No. Kamala is good. She knows what she'll be doing for the rest of her life. Maybe for Peter you could say that, because 10 years ago, sliding timeline, when he was younger, he didn't have the template. But now Kamala, she's a super fan of superheroes, and she can see that, well, he's been doing this for the longest time. This hero's been doing this forever. This hero's been doing this forever. That's the career I'm gonna join. I don't need to have this fake school desire. She needs to drop out and just be a hero full time. Think of all the lives she can save. It's not like she's gonna decide one day, I need something to fall back on. No more saving lives. Anyways, back to Captain Marvel. Phantom X, Emma Frost, who's in diamond form. They do the thing where Forge and Quanon have a kid, and there's another one who had a kid. I just can't remember who it was. Oh, it was Rhodes and someone else, and that one hurt her. She was like, "Damn, we're not gonna be happily ever after." So a book happens. They talk to her and they explain to her that it's year 2052. There's a lot of ways we could have done this without actually naming a year, because this book, I mentioned the sliding timeline earlier. This book is going to date itself, which it just did. You could just say that we are 32 years into the future. They're like, Captain Marvel, whoa. And she sees young Jerry and she goes, "Jerry, you're a baby. You're supposed to be a baby." And it could be like, "Well, I wasn't a baby for like 32 years. And then we would understand, the readers and she and everyone would understand, Carol is 32 years in the past. But now that you have this 2052 thing stuck on it, what happens when I read this 10 years from now? What happens when I read this 30 years from now? What happens when I read this in the, God willing, I'm still alive in year 2053, and now we've passed that date, and I'm looking at this like, well then, what? This doesn't make sense at all. How could everyone be so young? Because by the time we reach that year, probably a couple of years would pass in comic book time, honestly. Miles Morales will still be young. Kamala will still be in school. You don't date your comic books. I wouldn't do something like that. There is a moment where all the dead heroes were named here on the stone. It wasn't by alphabetical order. It was just superheroes' names. And then, probably the most creative thing they did here. They make reference to Captain Marvel, The End. I previously made a video on The End comics and why I wouldn't want to read them. They were pointless, meaningless. They'll never come up in a comic ever again. It's not true. It came up over here. The events over there where Carol jumped into the sun, and because the sun was going to die, I believe, and then she made it so that the sun wouldn't explode and kill everyone, and she made it so that we would still have our sun. That happens, and they mentioned that. So Carol now has that knowledge of the book The End, that she did that mission. Right here it says, you didn't miss Captain Marvel, The End, did you? By Sarah Brunstad with that editor's note. Okay, so I was completely wrong about the end's not mattering. The end only matters for this 6-issue arc, 5-issue arc, however long. I'm still okay with not reading it. Like, I was okay with not reading Empire, which was 4 issues, that they explained away here. So I'll be okay with not reading the end, along with these 4 issues that make the end meaningful, and then I'll get on the next storyline, if I want to. Depends. I'm not a fan of this Lee Garbett artwork. I'm more of a fan of Tamara Bonvillian. Yeah, all in all, disliked it. I got it for the cover, and then even the cover disappointed me with the rest in power. And why rest in power instead of rest in peace? I don't know. But that was a review by Chillmonger. Leave a comment, like the video, do that, and catch me on the next one. Oh, here's the video, The End. If I remember, it will be on the side of my face for you to click on. But those were my thoughts at the time. Adios.